till our presidential election. I'm going to give you some information regarding this election. Specifically, we're going to talk about Philadelphia. We have over 800,000 registered Democrats, 125,000 registered Republicans, and over 99,000 non-affiliated registrants. In total, in the state of Pennsylvania, we have over 8 million voters. Now, for those of you that watched the presidential debate last night, that person on Pennsylvania Avenue specifically called our city out on the falsehoods. He falsely stated that his representatives, that's what I call them, were not allowed to go into our polling locations during the mid-years. If they weren't authorized to be there, they had no right to be there. So just don't believe the hype, don't believe the lies. Like I said, 34 more days for you to make your choice, to make a change. Philly, I want us to go out and go strong. If you have not registered to vote yet, you have until the 19th of October to get that done. There are now many locations in and around the state of Pennsylvania where early voting has started. There are many locations in the city of Philadelphia, specifically the Leo Core Center is one of 7 locations where you can go register, you can get the ballot, fill it out, and vote early. So let's get it done, and let's show representation not only for our city and our state that we do care about voting. Let's get this work done. Census 2020, family. This is billions of dollars that we're talking about. There are billions of dollars at stake that can be used to help our families. We're talking about SNAP benefits. We're talking about school lunches for children. We're talking about Head Start programs for our babies. We're talking about better senior citizens homes for our seniors. We're talking about better Medicare, I believe, or Medicaid benefits for our seniors. We're talking about Pell Grants for our young people that are trying to go to college. We're talking about creating a better infrastructure. We're talking about helping our fire departments. Get your Census 2020 done. Every person counted, specifically in the city, $21,000 per person over the next 10 years. There are billions of dollars that we can stand to lose if we don't get this taken care of. Thank you so much. We have more than one guest on our show today, because I feel very strongly that the more people that help me get this message across, the more people that the broader our networks, the better we can get this information to everyone when they need it. One of my first guests is a second time guest on my show, and I'm really happy to have him here. Please bring out our first guest, and I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
What's up? What's up? What's up? How y'all doing today? My name is Kyle, the conductor. Shout out to being on mute. They can't silence us. We stand strong. We stand tall. We stand together. And I'm just happy to be rocking out with y'all today.
Oh, thank you so very much for agreeing to be back on here for me. For those that didn't catch the previous show, please tell our viewers who you are and what you're doing right now.
Oh, definitely. Well, my name is Kyle, the conductor. I have the privilege of being the founding executive director of the Education, Culture, and Opportunities Foundation. We go by the ECO Foundation for short. We just opened up a community center, a common unity center rather, in West Philadelphia, 5411 Market Street. We're a hub for all things education, culture, and opportunities. We work with young people. We get them jobs as young as 10 years old, give them stipends for taking care of their neighbors and helping us distribute food and toiletries and sweeping up the street, but also taking self-defense classes and getting certified in CPR and stop the bleeding training, as well as learning how to ride horses. We just try to give them as much incentives as possible. And that's what we do with the kids, but we also have programming with adults, with parents as well. Our Family Matters workshop series is really popular, and we have the privilege of working with schools and doing professional developments and trainings for their teachers and staff as well to make sure everybody's getting the same message.
Oh my goodness. So how has, because I remember the last time we talked, you mentioned voting initiatives. What what is the Eco Foundation doing to try to get that message out?
Yes, yes. So we're having this event called Party at the Polls. We're still seeking a few more sponsors. We're working with Black Voters Matter, Black Lives Matter, as well as anybody else that wants to support us. So if you out there, you listen and you want to help us out, let me tell you a bit more about what it is. So Party at the Polls is where we take a DJ, an MC. I'm an MC for a Black-owned entertainment company. They call me MC Showtime. But the goal is to, yeah, I'm Showtime sometimes. We go out there and we get the energy going, you know, so from 12 to 7 p.m., we're going to go to historically low voter turnout areas, specifically in Black communities, to incentivize people to come out. We'll have some dancers join us. Some of my fraternity members and other members of the Divine Nine will be coming out as well to step and stroll and just keep the energy going, as well as reaching out to organizations like Project Positive and other dance troops to come out and just really get the crowd hype and get people to the polls. And once they're there, everyone's going to get a door prize, whether it's a LED blinky light, or it's a wristband, or it's a sticker or something small. But you'll also be into a raffle to win everything from T-shirts to gift cards to televisions. And that's going to take place on Election Day. And if the funding comes through soon enough, we'd like to do the same thing in those neighborhoods to get people registered by the last day to vote, last day to register in PA, which is October 19th. So we'll probably be doing that the week before October 12th. So if the funding comes in, if you guys want to sponsor it, get us a DJ and MCs and dancers and all of that, we can give out free toiletries and food and resources to our community and incentivize them to vote. That's really all it comes down to. So if you're down for the mission, then let's talk.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm so happy to hear that. I'm going to bring in my second guest. He just was able to get back on. I'll introduce you guys virtually, and we're going to talk some more about the importance of this voting initiative, about the importance of people getting their census done, and how being educated on it is also very important.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. We just wait for him to come right on for us. Brother Kasim, are you there? Take yourself on mute if you can hear me. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you, Queen.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll pop in a second.
Yes,
but in
absolutely.
the meantime, between time, I'm just so proud of the work that you're doing in and out of the community, like that we can see, and then also the things you're doing behind the scenes. So I'm just curious, like as a parent, what are some of the things that you want to see happen? What can other parents do to mobilize? How can you move some of your peers?
Mobilize to vote, or mobilize to help improve their education?
I think they go hand in hand. You can't talk about education if we're not talking about the census and voting. So
families can only do anything with the knowledge that they currently have. If no one explains to them, peace, Brother Kasim, how are you?
Peace and blessings, Queen. Peace and blessings, King. Pardon me, I'm still at work, so they let me get 10 minutes to come in my truck real quick.
Oh my goodness. Well, we're gonna make this fast then.
Yeah, I apologize.
That is okay. That is okay. Before I answer your question, Kyle, Brother Kasim, oh my goodness. Very briefly, tell us about your show. That was amazing last night, by the way.
All right. Peace and blessings, kings and queens. What it is, we have a show called Real Talk with Kasim, where what we do is it's a community show. I'm just the face of it. You know, we have a leadership. We don't like to call it team. We don't even call our viewers. We call it leadership because it's about the community. And what we do is we bring concerns and information to the forefront. It's just based upon that. It ain't got dealing with no gossip, no rhetoric, no bashing nobody. It deals with none of that. It's strictly for the upliftment of us as a people, dealing with Black and brown people. I just like to say we all Black because we all African. So, you know, under those terms, you know, that's exactly what it's about. Point blank, period.
Kasim, your show last night, I had to wind myself down and then ramp myself back up for that debate. But for those that do not know, Kasim Washington, I actually graduated high school with his sister. Hey, kid, how are you? But He also comes from up top, that I lovingly call up top. He comes from
That's right.
Passaic, New Jersey. He also graduated from Passaic High School. So I'm going to, give them a lot of a lot of props, because a lot of people came out of that school. We were educated. We learned about ourselves and we
That's right.
supported each other. And I really wish there were more schools like that ended up being, putting those little seeds in our heads
Right.
and in our hearts, that have grown and flourished and have gone beyond the city
Right.
of Passaic, New Jersey, throughout the world.
Right.
There are many of us, but when you say you from Passaic and you say Passaic the right way, they know you from Passaic. I'll give you that. So that, I mean, you only have 10 minutes. So if you can please tell our family why it is so important for everyone to get that vote out there.
Well, first and foremost, my whole analogy when it comes to the voting process is this. I look at it from this perspective of dealing with our ancestors, because our ancestors has went through so much, meaning there was so that we were traumatized. We had little babies, up from the babies up to our elders, who was castrated, who was demonized, who was tortured, just to have the ability to attempt to go vote, let alone all of them that died in the process of trying to vote. So they unfortunately they become ancestors. They fought for us to have the ability to have the freedom of it to do what we're doing now. So at least the littlest is to do that for them. And then second of all, when it comes to the political process, we have to vote our conscience. Because I don't like the fact when you hear people say, and this is my perspective, this is mine, it's just mine. It ain't Brother Kyle's, it ain't Sister Maritza's, it's my perspective. And it's this though. I don't like the term when they say, well, you gotta vote for they both wicked, so you gotta vote for the lesser evil. Evil is evil, whether it's on a high frequency or a low frequency. Evil is evil, but we have to do is we have to condition ourselves to say who is better to put in a situation or predicament that we can hold accountable to retract some of the things in which they've done, or in other words, to right some of their wrongs. That's my perspective. But it's important to get out the vote, because most people say that it doesn't matter when you vote on a national level, dealing with the presidency. They say that it don't matter. But we know and understand that it does matter on a local level.
Yeah.
So there's things that that has to be implemented. But one thing that we never really do is we never come together as collectively as a nation to hold our president accountable. We look for other people to hold them accountable while we go in corners in the groups and talk about the wrongs that they're doing. And instead of trying to correct that, we don't go to meetings and try to rally you people up together to take them bus trips to get there and hold them accountable. Or we have people within inside our groups, or when I say groups, our family, our existence, our gatherings, our communities, our blocks, that have the ability to be able to write craftily, to be able to write the Congress people, to be able to write the senators, and then ask for meetings. It's a facet of things that we could do. But the only thing I feel is that we are so fair, or we can become lackadaisical and lazy to start doing the work. We rather sit around and gossip and talk instead of doing the work. Talking is just 1% of it. The work is 99% of it.
I
And
totally
it's just
agree
my
with you.
perspective.
No, I totally agree with you. And another thing I'm gonna add to that, what you just said, for those that think that the president wouldn't feel the pressure of whomever we put in local positions, local and state positions, can then apply that pressure going up.
That's right.
And if we were able to do that, if we put more pressure, if we put the people that we felt needed to do the correct job to be our representatives in Congress, to be our senators in the Senate, all of them collectively, if they are there for us and we put them there, they work for us, they could put a lot of pressure on whoever's sitting in that presidential seat.
Right. Because if they say the power is in the people, right? Because that's often one of the main cliches that's said. If the power is in the people, then why don't the people stand up and exert their power?
Oh my goodness. Kasim, you coming back. I
Yeah,
know
but
you
go
gotta
ahead.
go back to work.
No, I'm gonna stay on a little bit longer because I'm
Right.
enjoying this and I want to hear the brother right there.
There you go. Okay, so Kyle,
I wanna
back
hear
to
the
your
brother.
question. What has to happen for families to become more involved in the process with regards to the education of their children and regards to having enough knowledge base to know what they want to do with regards to making a choice for voting in the census. We have to give them the information. I can speak from experience. I was one of those enumerators out there for this census. And I lie to you not, more than 75% of the people that as I was knocking on doors, walking through neighborhoods in North Philly, would say to me, Miss, what are you walking around here for? I said, I'm trying to get some census information from our neighborhoods because that's what's going to help us. They were like, what are you talking about? What is the census? How is it going to help us? So I gave that breakdown. I said, you have an issue with the schools in your neighborhood and we need more, they go by the census numbers. If you don't feel we have enough hospitals in our neighborhood, they go by how many people are in this neighborhood to say we need more hospitals. If you have issues with fires being fought and the time it takes for the fire department to get to these neighborhoods to fight these fires, to keep our homes and families safe, they go by the census numbers. If you're concerned with families being able to eat and getting SNAP benefits, they go by the census numbers. So as I was breaking that down to these folks that I ran into knocking on doors and seeing on the street, they were like, oh, okay. And they filled out the information for me. It only took 10 minutes. I gave my quick 3-minute elevator speech and it broke it down for them why it's important for them to do the census, and they understood it. People only know what they know.
Right. Right.
And that's what it's going to take. People have to be given information. I had a mother call me today at my school saying she's been requesting services for her family and has not heard anything. I said, Mom, legally, all you got to do is walk into this school building tomorrow, bring me a letter saying whatever her name is, and requesting an evaluation for my child. By law, they have to respond to her within 30 days. She had no idea and she bust out crying because she didn't know. And that's a sin. I don't know who gave her the information, but families, if you need information, come to us. Come to us. We're here to help you. We are community members. Kasim is in North Jersey and Passaic. Kyle, you're here in Philly with me. Anybody else out there, if you are a person that has knowledge and information, share it with everyone.
So I think it comes down to, I appreciate y'all for sharing that insight. I think it comes down to how we deliver that information, right? Like there were people who really benefited from the way you were able to talk to them on the street level. There's people who will really get a lot of leaders, not viewers, who will get a lot of appreciation for what Brother Washington is offering, right? But when it comes down to it, sometimes we're preaching to the choir, and other times we're not spending the right we're not exerting the right kind of energy for our target audience, right? So when you're in the field, you have to be able to be flexible enough to engage the same way teachers engage different students differently, the same way parents engage their children differently. You know who you may have to like come at an approach from this angle or that angle. So there has to be an interdisciplinary approach when tackling any issue. So in this case, if you want to educate people on the census, you have to play to what they want, right? Play to their desires. But some people don't want to stop and listen to you. So how can you creatively get them and grab their attention? So I remember posting signs in college when I was trying to get elected for like homecoming king or nominated or whatever. I would post like the word weed real big, and then it would say, like right up underneath, it would say, weed makes you forget sometimes, but don't forget to vote for me for homecoming king. Or it would say, like when I was recruiting for an education organization here in Philly, I said free Roots picnic tickets would be nice, but in the meantime, between time, make sure you check out da-da-da-da-da. So yeah, some people will be like, you tricked me, but they're getting tricked all the time. I mean, this is America, right? So I think it's just using some of those, that clickbait for your benefit. And then outside of that, there's also creative approaches. I mean, there's a lot of artists in the city. There's a lot of talented people, visual and performing, that can get a message across a lot faster and simpler. I'm not sure why there's a couple Instagram accounts and Facebook groups that typically post a lot of content that some viewers and leaders may not appreciate or even want their kids listening to or checking out. But between Spice Gang on Facebook, Scoop Hall, Philly Scoop Hall on Instagram, there's a couple other accounts, but those are like two that have like 80,000 or 100,000 followers, right? So if you're able to get on those accounts and then pay for ads, specifically on Instagram, and pay for ad space where you're getting those rappers, those same rappers with the smoking like all of that to like rap about like, yo, I'm out here voting. Yeah, no, I ain't voting. I ain't choking. Air quality is bad, but it's potent. Like whatever it is they talking about, you can flip that message around and then tap into the next generation. Because also people, I'm 30 years old. There's people my age that are also on those accounts that run those accounts. So you got to be able to meet people where they are. I really appreciate that. It was a post that came out like "Get your booty to the polls," and there was exotic dancers
I've seen it.
that were dancing while talking about getting your butt to the poll, not the stripper pole, but the voting poll. So I think that's important. And in the same way, the sirens, when they come by, we kind of bleed it out. There's certain people who will not bleed out. We ignore it. We go deaf to it. There's certain people who drive around, make sure you vote on election day and blah, blah, blah. That's not the move. We're not listening to that. This is Philly. Unless it's an ice cream truck and specifically Mr. Softy,
Yes.
I'm not moving. You know what I mean? So, and that's no plug to Mr. Softy because the prices went up something crazy, but
Right.
crazy, able to slur because it went up something wild, but it's important to know how we're going to approach that. So if you already use a megaphone, a microphone, your keyboard, or a keyboard, like play the keys on some Alicia stuff, or shout out to Stevie. You just have to make sure we do it in a way that's engaging to our audience, whether we're talking about the polls, whether we're talking about the census, whether we're talking about mass incarceration or ending that. No matter what it is, no matter what our message is, we have to be intentional about engaging the people that we serve, because at the end of the day, it's about service. And if we're not flexible as leaders, whether we're parents or teachers or community activists or Blacktivists or whatever, then we're not doing our part. Because a lot of us get stuck in our ways, want to do things a certain way. And Brother Washington, this is no shade to you, but I've heard the whole people have died so we could do blah, blah, blah. Yeah, people are dying every day in Philly. Philly is a war zone. That Orange Bowl said a lot of things about our city, but our city has been going through it lately as a byproduct of what's been going. It's been like the unfortunate icing on the cake, right? So there's a lot that needs to be done, but people don't want to hear that sometimes. That works. That pulls at some people's heartstrings, but that's not going to get everybody who's already experiencing. I have students that are in 8th grade that are on their 3rd or 4th RIP post for the year, posting someone their age, like their peers. You know what I mean? That's ridiculous. I'm seeing T-shirts with our kids on them. You know, I mean, it's messed up anybody losing their life, but those are things that we really need to work on. Shout out to unemployment checks. Some call them fund employment checks, but whatever it is you calling them, some people that those funds have used them correctly, and some people haven't. Same thing with anything else. And there's young boys out here in these streets with 50 bullet clips and handguns, like putting them in Instagram videos and IG videos and YouTube videos and all of that. So they're getting access to things they didn't typically have access to. So that means we have to work 10 times harder to make sure we tap in and touch and connect with those young souls, because they're the ones who can influence our generation. They say what slang is popular, what clothes are popular, what social media challenges are popular, and we follow suit. You know, you see older people doing the shoot dance and doing TikToks and baby girl, give me something, like because they said it's cool, right? So,
Yes.
So how do we tap into them and remind them of their royalty to help them help us? And whether they're doing that as a 17 turning 18-year-old first-time voter, or they're doing it as someone who's older and has children, like, you know what, my kids are right. But we have to have those uncomfortable conversations, those hard conversations, as I say. So I don't want to take up too much space. I know you have other guests, but those are just some of the things that have been spinning as we've been talking.
No, Kyle, no, I absolutely agree with what you're saying. And we do have to reach our young people. I absolutely agree. If you know a young person, if you know young people that are that have platforms themselves, like I plan on being on Eli Capella's show very soon. Eli Capella, for those that do not know, is my son. So I will be on his show because I know that when he and I have a conversation, these are two different generations. I'm pushing 50, he's pushing his mid-20s, but his reach and his networks are the people that we have to reach because they are the voting age. They are a voting age, or very soon will become a voting age, and they're going to be our future generations. They're going to be the ones helping us to lead. They're going to be our future leaders, so they also have to be respected. Yes, every generation is different. We have to meet everyone where they are. So if a person is really conscious of a person, what generation a person is from, we're going to make sure we cater to what they would be attracted to when we're trying to reach them. But we can't forget the young ones because they're coming up right behind us. And we have to give them also that respect and that honor and know, yes, you may say things a little bit differently, You may understand things a little bit differently. You may dress a little bit differently, but we are all the same, and we want better for you as well.
Right. And you know what, to say something to the brother Kyle, which I agree with him wholeheartedly. Well, let me explain my position on when I said that when we talked about um our ancestors and going being trauma and being sick with dogs and all that is because unfortunately I'm not just a person who have a talk show. I'm used to bang. You know what I mean? I used to bang blood and all that kind of stuff. So my thing is that when I talk to the youth, because I'm out here with them every day, like you are, like we all are. I'm out there with them every day. But it's unfortunate, it's heart wrenching when I get on, when I take them down in the rec center and I show them a movie called Eyes on the Prize, and they see that the water hose was, that we was water hosed and they had dogs sick on us, they start crying. They say, damn, brother, I didn't know that we went through this. Like, I didn't, wow. And then I showed them and relate that to what's going on in our neighborhoods. Like, there's no difference from that to what we're doing to each other in the areas in which we live. And when we talk about elections, the youth are so, I'm talking about youth who are within inside the age bracket to vote. They are so disconnected with the voting process because they align the police department with the presidency. They align the police department with every election that exists. And they say, well, if nothing is happening in our own cities in which the police should be being brutalized or terrorized by the police, if my brother from around the corner coming at me because my swag is a little different from his or because I'm wearing this and they wearing that, and when we vote for election, they don't do nothing. Or those who are running for elections, we don't never see them in our area. They don't come in our hood. They don't care about us. You know what I mean? So because they relate everything back to that, it's difficult to try to get them unless like the.
Ooh, we may have lost him.
Oh man, he was dropping
Oh,
gems.
Oh man, what I do when
oh,
I
there
gotta.
he go.
He's back. He's back. He's back. He's black.
Just unmute yourself. Just talk, brother. Go ahead. We hearing. We can hear you.
Hit that unmute button, bro.
I'm unmuted now.
You
Yes,
good?
we
You
got
good?
you. We got you back.
Welcome
Okay.
back.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. Welcome black, beloved. And can you see me? You just can hear me. I don't know how this go.
We can hear you. You fine. Just talk.
Okay. So now what happens is I forgot where I was at. I apologize. That threw
Oh,
me
you
off.
on fire. Go ahead.
No, you were saying that the youth connect every office, every election with
The police.
not necessarily the president, but with the police.
Right.
And you're gonna go somewhere with that.
I
I'm on the
forgot
edge of
where I
my
was
seat,
going.
bro.
I was pardon me, but I become very, very passionate when it comes to our youth, man. Like for real, man, because like I said, I don't know exactly where I was going, but let me say this in retrospect of that, is that like they are so disenfranchised with the system itself that when you talk about election, and because like I said, that thing is, man, Jim Bob ain't never came in our hood. He ain't never did nothing for us. He ain't never came and talked to us. Matter of fact, when there was an uproar between our block and their block, the only time we seen them come in is
Oh.
You went back on
them
mute.
coming out and voting for them. You know what I mean? There's a disconnect, and it's unfortunately that nowadays we don't have them. Our young ones don't have the big mamas in the house no more. You know what I mean? We got young parents that's raising young children. You know, but at the same time, man, it's the disconnect is so intense or entrenched within the mindset. We have to utilize like the rappers in the area, or like this. When I'm going into an area where I know it's a little thick, the tension is thick, and I'm saying, well, damn, I gotta get this message out to these brothers. How am I gonna come at these brothers? What I do is I get my wireless speaker. I asked my little son, my little 8-year-old son, what's going on right now? Who the hottest rapper? He said, nah, dad, play the baby. I'll put the baby on, or you gotta throw on Meek Mills, right? And then now I go in the hood, and now I'm blasting it. Now I got everybody's attention. Once I get their attention, what do I do to keep that attention? How do I relay the message to them? And that all has a part to play with it, because I can't go in areas in which my brothers and sisters live, in which I live myself, with a suit on, trying to talk all proper and educated, when in fact they not talking like that. They're gonna resent that. Instead of embracing it, they're gonna send my ass out the different, excuse my language, they're gonna send me out a different direction. So I agree with the brother saying, like, we gotta, there's a whole bunch of different means and ways to do it. We just gotta do it. And we can't give up, because if nobody gave up on us, how can we give up on them?
Yes, Kasim, you are absolutely right. People can spot BS a mile away.
There
Our
you go.
young people can spot BS a mile away. We have to be able to reconnect, rebuild that trust, and explain to them that their role in this process, if they want things to change with regard to what the police is doing in our communities, if we want to change, if we want reform, if we want resources to go to counselors and social workers instead of more police, they have to vote people in that are going to do the job that we need them to do. Because all those officials work for us. We don't work for them, they work for us. I absolutely agree with you.
You got to meet them where they are to get them to where they're going.
Absolutely.
And it's just to tap however you can tap in. So,
Hey, listen, hey, Kyle, hey, brother Kyle,
Oh,
listen,
gosh.
I had a 12-year-old tell me this. I don't know if you've heard it before, but this was a 12-year-old girl. I wish she was, if I was home, I would put her on here. She said, she gave me a scenario. She said that there was a crime that was committed. She said there was a stabbing that took place. So what happened was the stabber ended up going in the backyard of somebody's house and put on a suit. When he put on a suit, he stood in front of the people in front of a grocery store. The police is running all around looking for the individual. So he said to the individuals who was around the corner, he said, listen, I give each one of you $500 if you go find this guy. They gave him the description of him and everything, a black guy, and he just did a stabbing. If you go, they said he went around the corner somewhere by the store. I'll give you each one of you $500 if you all find him. It was 10 of them. The brothers ended up running around the corner looking for everybody. They start throwing everybody up against the wall. Brothers, not police. And then the brother in the suit, they walked away because they didn't identify with the brother in the suit. They identified with the people who look like them. You know what I mean?
is that a real story or is that like a parable? Because that sounds like
it's a parable that a 12-year-old gave me.
okay.
You know what I mean? And
That's
then
how they see things.
And yeah, exactly. And then I said to the 12-year-old sister, her name is Amina. I said, Amina, I said, sister, what would make you give me that? Where did you get that from? She said, because I'm tired of us looking the way that we look. And then when it's time to go get a job, we're scared to put on a suit. I said, well, why should we put on a suit? She said, because it's proper etiquette. And we have become so disenfranchised. This is a 12-year-old telling me. Said, Brother Kassim, we become so disenfranchised that it's time for us to put on a suit. So I said to her, well, what do you mean a suit? She said, I'm not talking about a physical suit. I'm talking about cleaning ourselves up.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be like okay, got you. Because when you clean yourself up, you then separate yourself from people. Okay.
There you go. Exactly. But what I'm getting at now, this is what I'm saying is like when you talked about how you got to come at us. You know what I mean? When it comes to senses, people don't understand the significance of the senses, but yet everybody's putting all the energy into the presidency. And they're not putting into the presidency far as it's mandatory to vote for the proper things of which we vote for. They feeding into the gossip of how racist Trump is opposed to how not so racist Biden is. You know what I mean? To the point that we becoming misconstrued. And once again, we're falling under the spell of what we call Leviathan, and we're falling for the same old trick again. That's why I always pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He guides us all, man, onto the right path, man. That's just my perspective.
Brothers, the both of you, you coming back for a third time, and you coming back, Hassan, for a second time, because this is not over. We're going to keep talking about this, and it's going to keep on being a conversation even after election day.
Right.
I want to thank you both. I just want you to give me in 30 seconds each what message you want to give to my wonderful viewers. What do you want to say to them?
I know Kyle gonna get real heavy. So because Kyle looked like a brother who is like a philosopher. That's what I'm getting from. He remind me of one of my mans, like for real. He got that look and everything. So let me go first. I go first. I just want to say to everybody, and look, let me say this to y'all too. Because you know, look, Sister Maritza, Queen Maritza, Brother King Kyle. I want to have you both on our show.
Let me
So
know.
let's hook up and let's make that happen. So we can bring Philly to Passaic. You know
That's
what I mean?
right.
Virtually.
That's right. Uptime.
Because that's how we spread and we become a family. Let's do that. So I'll reach out to y'all when I get out of here. But let me say this to everyone within the radius of this show, our voices, and us visually. My thing to everybody is this, in which I say to everybody. First, let me say this. If by chance nobody told anyone that they love you today, then let me be the first to tell you that I love you. You know, and let me also say that I believe that the Creator instilled within inside of us the ability and the power to be a leader. Because often at times we always put ourselves in a position through other people's perspectives that we have to look for somebody to lead us. So I want to give everybody my definement of a leader, which is a leader must be tough enough to fight, be tender enough to cry, be human enough to make mistakes, be honest enough to admit them, be strong enough to absorb all the pain, and then be resilient enough to bounce back and keep on moving. And we, as children of the Creator, are all leaders. We have to often at times stop looking and putting other people in the position that we're supposed to be in ourselves as our own leaders. And to the parents, we salute you for doing the right thing. And for those who are not doing the right thing, I pray that you end up doing the right thing so we can uphold ourselves as a nation.
Thank you so much, Kasim. We will definitely
Ashe.
talk soon. Ashe, absolutely. Peace and blessings to you, brother.
Praise, but I'm not going to be disrespectful. I'm going to leave after you all say y'all last words too.
Oh, no, we're going to bring somebody else on. If you want to still
Okay.
keep on watching, you go ahead. But I just want to give 30 seconds to Kyle for his parting words to us. And like I said, Kyle, you coming back.
Right. I
So,
gotta respectfully head Kyle, and I'm gonna get off.
first and foremost, thank you for this opportunity to serve in this capacity. I look forward to building with you guys further. And to anyone that's at home, I just want you to remember that it won't be easy, whatever the fight is that you're going through. It won't be, whether it's a personal fight, but it does start with you. So once you're able to master yourself, and if that just means getting out of bed and brushing your teeth today, that's all you got capacity for. Well, look, that's better than you did yesterday. But just understand that sometimes progress is incremental, but it's always going to move you closer to your destiny and your purpose. So living your purpose, drink water, take care of yourself, so you could be who you need to be for those around you. And then you can worry about things like voting and census and all of that. So we'll make it shake. Keep your crown up.
Absolutely.
See, I told you. I told you. I told you. I told you.
Kyle, thank you so very much. We will
No, I
talk
thank
soon,
you.
brother.
I thank
Kasim,
you.
thank you very much. All my love to my Passaic family. I'll be
Definitely.
top soon, and we are going to talk again.
And,
Absolutely.
and Sister Maritza, I want to take the initiative to apologize to you because I was so caught up yesterday in what was going on that I didn't take the initiative to announce you and announce your platform. And I apologize, but from now on, from this show forward, I will make sure that your platform is represented. Thank
Absolutely.
you very
Thank
much.
you
And
so
listen,
much.
sister, it's important what you do. It's very important what you do. Keep doing what you're doing in the midst of anything that rocks that may be thrown at you. You got brothers like myself, and the longer I know, like your brother Kyle, that'll transform myself into a shield to be able to stop them rocks from hitting you. Keep moving forward. What it is that you're doing is very important because these platforms can either make people, uplift them, or it could break them and tear them down. And what you're doing with it is you're uplifting us, and I truly appreciate that. I
Thank
truly
you so
appreciate
much.
that.
Thank you.
And wear your crown, sister.
Thank you so much. All
Peace
right.
and blessings to you all.
Peace and blessings to you both. Okay, family. Oh, my goodness. This was so amazing. Thank you so much, both of you. My third and final guest for today. We're going to bring this brother on, and I'm going to let him introduce himself, and we're going to get to talking. Good afternoon.
Hey, how you doing?
For those that, and I find it hard to believe, for anyone out there that may not know who you are, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, I'm Charles, man. I'm from Oakland, born in Chicago. I just try to care about my community and do what's best for it, man. I'm not big. I'm not the best on doing intros, so yeah.
So I guess I'm going to talk about you a little bit. Okay.
It's all good.
This gentleman right here, for anyone that may not know, is Dr. Charles Cole. He is one fourth of the 8 Black Hands. He is himself, and in my opinion, an amazing individual, a person that definitely cares about our black and brown babies, definitely cares about the education that they deserve to get, definitely has a story and it is inspiring for all our young people, or for our adults that are aspiring to get to that level of academia. And please tell me a little bit about Energy Converters, please.
So Energy Converters focuses on the end users and education, meaning that we start with students and their families and the community, and then we roll out, just because a lot of education issues tend to be adult issues. So that's what Energy Converters is. And I'm really proud of it. And we're looking for it. We're expanding to Chicago now and taking on some national stuff in addition to our work in Oakland. So thank you for having me. And I appreciate being here.
Oh my goodness. My first introduction to you, I knew Brother Sharif because I also used to be part of the Mastery family. So I knew of him.
It's my dude, yeah.
Yes, I believe I saw Mr. Stewart, another member of A Black Hands, over at one of the New Jersey Parent Summits, and he was one of the speakers there, if I remember correctly. So when I met you and Ray, I saw you and Ray, along with Sharif and Charles. At
Chris?
Yes, at the first.
No, you call Chris Charles, yeah. You mean,
sorry.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, look, I'm still on the buzz from the previous guest.
It's all good.
The first convening of the National Parents Union back in January in Louisiana was amazing. But the icing on the cake was when you four brothers got up on stage and had your podcast there. It was amazing. It was memorable. People still talk about it to this day. And ever since then, I truly enjoy every Sunday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time and watch you and listen to you guys. And then you also have been able to branch out into your own shows. You've also shared your platform with other people that you feel strongly about that also have something important to say. So you guys have really expanded to the point where it's not only 8 Black Hands, and you may have your each individual shows, but you've also given other people the opportunity to also speak that truth to everybody that they need. And I think that's been awesome.
Yeah, well, I appreciate those brothers. We all kind of had our own stuff even before 8 Black Hands, and we just kind of came together to do it. But I love those cats, man. And yeah, y'all should definitely check it out. You can find it on Facebook. You can find it wherever podcasts are. But if you want to see it live, you can go to our Twitter or Facebook every Sunday night, 9 Eastern time.
Okay. So National Parent Union, you know, we love you guys. We respect you guys. Some of us are definitely fans. You have a lot of fans within National Parents Union. Please tell me what your thoughts were about what was discussed last night during these debates. Briefly, we don't got to.
Yeah. And yeah, no worries. And I know we don't have a lot of time because I got to leave right at the top of the hour for another meeting. But I think, last night I wasn't surprised. I think Trump's just an asshole. I mean, you can put a lot of big words on it or try to like over intellectualize it or whatever you need to do. I think he's just a jerk, and that's just how he rolls. I think Biden did the best he could in trying to focus without ending up putting hands on dude. And I feel like the moderator, I know he's getting a lot of flack today, and I'm like I said, I'm the last person to come to his defense in that sense, but I don't know what else he could have necessarily did short of a mute button. I do think they need a mute button though, so they can actually get that 2 minutes out. And then I think the other question is, if Trump spends the entire 2 minutes lying on me, then I got to spend my time debunking your lies. And actually, it's actually a pretty, it's a sucky strategy, but it's effective in that way, right? To not get those thoughts out. So I wasn't surprised, and I'm more surprised by people who were surprised.
Yeah, there were a lot of surprised people. I sat there, and after a while, I felt like I was in middle school listening to two people argue.
Yeah,
because he definitely doesn't know how to. He doesn't practice etiquette. That was not something that he was raised with.
Well, he practices Trump etiquette. Listen, man, that's how he moves. That's how he's always moved. We gotta stop being surprised when people show you who they are. Like Trump has been consistent in saying exactly who he is, and he's never changed, and he's not going to. So I don't know what people are expecting. make sure your ass is voting and get him up out of there. Because he's still got a really good chance of winning. It's hard to beat an incumbent, even one as terrible as he is. So you got to go vote. And I heard the other brothers on the last one around voting your conscience and stuff. Look, you do what you got to do, but you ain't got to love Biden. He ain't got to be a dream date. You know what I'm saying? You're not trying to marry this cat. We just trying to save our country. So I would push against what I had heard over there, and I would urge you to go vote, even if he ain't your favorite.
Absolutely, because I even said it last night while I was watching Kasim's show. I said no vote is a vote for who you don't want to see in office. So yeah, for those that say I'm not going to vote because I don't want to be involved, you're giving that the opposing party just what they want. They want somebody to say apathy is living well within me. I'm not going to vote. It's not going to matter, but it does matter.
And look, and you free, that's your free right to do whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? It's just gonna be rough for me to process when you complain about the current state of things if you get another 4 years of Trump. So, but listen, I hope that Trump loses. I don't know if he will or not. I'm not gonna be surprised either way. But again, ain't nobody coming to save me. Ain't nobody coming to save you, and ain't nobody coming to save our kids, right? So what is it that we prepared to do regardless of who's in office, regardless of who's president? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, I'm big on agency, meaning that I have some stake in what happens to me and how it happens to me. I don't like being a passenger in the ride that is my life. I think that you should be a driver. And so, you're going to drive or you're going to be a passenger. But if you're a passenger, you can't complain about what's playing on the fucking radio. So, you got to go do what you're going to go do.
Absolutely. I agree. So that's why I say for those of us that truly understand the realities of what we're living in right now, be more involved. Number one, in your child's school. Mm-hmm. Number two, be present at those school board meetings. Be that voice for those that can't speak for themselves. Push back against those policies that are being approved that are not going to be helping us. Push more for and support those school leaders, those parent leaders that are out there fighting every day in these streets to make sure that all of our children get what they deserve. But you can start small. Be part, vote for the next mayoral election. Vote for those state reps. Vote for those governors and senators. Because if enough pressure is applied from the bottom, it will rise up to the top eventually. And be at that table, be in that room when those policy changes are enacted, are drafted, are then passed. Be there. Don't be the last person in the room and say, "Oh, I didn't know." I like to be.
I would push even on that, right? I mean, that's even at the state level, which I think you should as well. I think it's really important that you vote on your local levels too, though. I mean, your school boards, like those are really important elections. And local elections are really interesting because it's not as much about Democrat, Republican, or whatever, right? It's around like these local issues, and you tend to know those people or be able to touch and access those people. But voting ain't enough. Like voting is part of the thing. It's not the end of your duty, right? It's like how you get involved and what you do. So you should definitely go vote. Hard stop. You know what I'm saying? Hard stop and like, and be an active, it's part of your citizenship.
Citizenship. Well, unfortunately, a lot of children do not understand what that means. So I'm a strong advocate for bring civics back, not just at the high school level. Bring civics class back, started from kinder through 12, so that our children could be better prepared when they do turn 18. A lot of them don't understand. A lot of people didn't have that person at home that was constantly showing them their civic duty, showing by example, that wasn't going out there voting, that didn't do the census every 10 years, that would just be like, man, don't worry about that. No. Fortunately, many of us did have that example. We had our parents, our grandparents, whoever our guardians were, that did exercise their civic duty. And then they carried on with that tradition, and I hope it keeps on happening. But for those that haven't had it, we need it in school. Maybe they'll get it there.
I mean, look, like I said, I wish we had more time to like really go into it, because I think part of it is, I got a lot of thoughts about that. I think you should push your schools and you should always be super involved. But I have no faith that those schools are going to do the things they need to do just by looking at history. I'm Black. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can hate charter schools and all that stuff now. I only went to traditional schools when it wasn't charter schools around that much in my neighborhood, and I still got failed, right? So I would say parents and community people, like, you have to instill that level of citizenship, and you have to instill the things that you want your kids to get. You know, I don't think school is ever going to meet the needs that we have because it's not built for you. It's not, and you know what I'm saying? And they trying to take away your options, so you can't even have a choice or a say in where your kid goes to school. So I got a lot of thoughts about it, but you know, I know we coming up on time, but
no, Jada can let me know right now how much.
No. I have a meeting at the top of the hour. So that's why.
No.
Yeah.
You coming back. You let me know.
We'll work it out. Yeah.
So 30 seconds. I know you got to run. Parting thoughts to our viewers.
I mean, I could try to go another 5 minutes or whatnot. But yeah, but I want you, you know, so get out of me what you need to get, right? Like, but I'll definitely try to come back and help you. I think that, you know, well, I won't do my 30 seconds now. I'll do that at the end. Let me get to your questions.
My question for you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't really know your story. So if you can, I know I've heard your story.
Yeah.
Can you touch upon that?
So, I mean, I'll try to do it quickly. I was born in Chicago on the west side and out west. Basically, I was born in 83. My parents struggled with drugs like a lot of people did, and I moved a lot. And I had a grandmother that stayed in Paducah, Kentucky. So I would go stay with her and go back and forth between Chicago and Kentucky or whatnot. But we lived in Kentucky until she passed away. And then, you know, my father and mother were both in and out of jail. We took a Greyhound from Kentucky to California. It was like 6 days on the Greyhound bus. And, you know, and I grew up in Oakland from then on, from 10 on to, you know, 37. Right. And so, you know, went to a bunch of different schools, never really got what I needed. There were a few teachers that did something really good for me, one being Mr. Brown, but for the most part, the vast majority were whack. Did not see the value in me, did not see the potential in me. And so, you know, I played basketball, was active, had a few hoop scholarships that I did not end up taking, went to college, started being an activist there, fell into being a social worker, which I did for 5 years, and then went and got another master's degree in public administration, nonprofit development, worked in a bunch of different nonprofits, working with youth, you know, doing things like that, supporting and training teachers. And then went and worked at the district and worked in a soup's office, the district that I grew up in that was terrible when I was there and is still having some of the same issues. Went back and did my doctorate, and I did my doctorate focused on Black kids that grew up like I did and during the crack epidemic, highly impacted, that went on to become doctors or lawyers or whatever, just to kind of see the similarities in those stories and analyze it. So those stories are part of the zeitgeist. And started my own org, Energy Converters. I do philanthropy work. I'm an author. I have a book, and yeah, and a national speaker. And then, you know, so I mean, that's part of it, you know. And I think that you know, we just got to see examples of us that's doing things. And I think there's a lot of diversity in thought and a lot of diversity in ways to get there. But the one thing that I push again is agency, and nobody is going to do it for us, man. Ain't nobody coming to save us. And a lot of time, man, these people don't care. And here's the thing though, this is the part that might get controversial. I don't care if you like me. Like, I don't need white people to love me. That's not like you don't need your job to love you. You need the check to be on time. Mm-hmm. So what I need from these systems, right? I don't need this education system to love me or any of that stuff, but I do need you to get out of my way. I do need, if I start my own school or we start our own schools or we trying to teach our own lessons, I need you to not be a hindrance, right? I need the check to be, you know, basically the equivalent of the check being there on Friday is that you let me live my life and do the things that I need to do. But these systems not built for us. That don't mean that we don't push them to change. But if you waiting to change the hearts and minds of other people, then that's a fool's errand. And I don't run fool's errands. And I don't want moral victories. I want real victories. And that's what I go for in my life. And that's what I go for with the young people in the communities that I work in. And, you know, not to give a super long-winded answer, but that's just kind of how I see things. And that don't always jive with everybody. But guess what? I don't care. So, you know, and I say that with love.
Oh, my goodness. You coming back. You're coming back. and I'm just gonna get it's just gonna be you guys, you, and that's gonna be it, or you and and the rest of the 8 Black Hands all together. But I'm definitely bringing you back. I appreciate your patience. I appreciate you being here. What you do, I say it again, is amazing work. Keep on doing the work. I would love to see you bring some of those initiatives to our young people here in Philadelphia because they need all the help that they can get.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell you that these young people need an alternative, they need a different choice, they need a different opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
they need some different. They need to hear from someone that's a little bit closer to their age, because they'll get Mama Gertie all the time, but they need people like you with your strength and your knowledge and your understanding of what they've gone through and are currently going through to really give them a different outlook and a different perspective on which direction they can go towards instead of what they're living in right now, unfortunately. I appreciate you coming on here. I know you gotta go. I'm just gonna give some parting thoughts to whoever's viewing with me now. But thank you so very much, Dr. Charles.
All good. Thanks
You're
for having
great.
me. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you so much, and we will talk soon.
All right. Take care.
Thank you. You too. Family, thank you so much for being a part of this broadcast, for listening, for commenting. I saw you. I saw many people. I appreciate your comments. I'm not really avid and being able to look at my phone really quickly for your questions and then bringing out the answers. I'm working on that. We are going to bring our wonderful guests back because I always let them know if the show was fire, I'm bringing that fire back. So you will see them all again. I need you to please take care of yourselves, take care of your families, register to vote, and then go vote. If you have not done the census, take care of the census and get it done. Make your numbers count. Every single person that is not counted, our counties, our cities, our towns are going to be losing billions of dollars. We need those funds to help us improve our communities. Those funds are needed. Yes, the focus is on this presidential election, but it is not just about that one person. Yes, that person needs to change. We need to get that person out. But we also need to keep in mind that our local government may also need to be changed and improved upon. If you don't like what's going on, if that person that's running for re-election has not walked in your communities and talked with you and made themselves accessible to you, guess what? You can vote them out. Guess what? If you have the experience, the strength, and the power, and the courage, and the desire to run for office, do it. If you are that authentic person, you will have people that will stand by you and with you and help you get to that elected post you desire. All of us, please, if you're interested, family, in being a member of the National Parents Union, please go on to nationalparentsunion.org, sign up for a membership. If you are an organization, there is an organizational membership. Also, we are not charging you any money. This is not that kind of union. The union is just that we are unified. National Parents Union are unified parent advocates, parents. We are family. We cover the entire country, including Puerto Rico. We are here for you. For anyone that's in need of help, we have many platforms on Facebook under the National Parents Union Facebook page. It is not just my show. We have a show every Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning. We have an evening show Monday, Wednesday, Friday evening. We have an NPU Espanol for my Latino families que no hablan inglés. We are here. If you have a question, info@nationalparentunion.org. If you want to reach out to me directly, it's Maritza. You see my name right there at npunion.org. We're going to be having a National Parents Union Town Hall on November 5th. Go on to our page and register for that. We are looking forward to seeing many of our family and friends and supporters be on there, show support. We are here for you. We love you. Thank you so very much. Have a good rest of your Wednesday.